You guys might have cottoned on to the fact that because its name is Gigajank Pile, I'm not necessarily confident in this deck's ability to perform. I don't know. Decks right now are just kind of weird. So here's the situation we had. Tournament lineup, you know, you have to plan around your ban, you have to plan around your target, you have to plan around your matchup tables, you need to make sure your lineup beats their lineup, you have to make sure that they're banning what you want them to ban, or rather to make sure they don't have any specific good ban, right? There's so much you have to consider when it comes to tournament lineup. Here's why I'm running this deck. The reason is pretty simple. I'm banning War Mothers, so the mirror is banned out, therefore, like the reason that stuff like Howling Abyss is normally complete garbage is because normally these War Mothers matchups, you know, it's not enough to win the mirror. And the whole point of the inevitability card is to win the mirror. In this case, because I'm auto-banning the mirror, I don't need it. Also, I'm sort of double targeting. The idea behind my lineup is I'm double targeting Scouts and Lee Sin. And I'm banning War Mothers. And this was the perfect... BBG was on a different deck, but in this case, this was the perfect call. Because she brought all three. So this is like right into my plan. So if this goes as well as in theory, we should be favored. That being said, I have a confession to make. I've never played this list one time. This is a pure theory craft concept. If it all goes according to plan, I can't lose. If it all goes according to plan. Oh, it's Lee Sin! We're favored. We're good. Yeah, Lee Sin definitely got a lot worse. Like, Lee Sin is a very vulnerable and targetable deck. Especially in a tournament format. I think Lee is a lot better on ladder than tournament, actually. I'm just making sure I'm pulling up the list. I know I rope a lot, but these decision points actually matter. Okay, I've still got it from before. I think we solo keep Sentry. I don't know. I could honestly literally just keep Vengeance. The sand... It's so weird. I could almost full keep that hand, maybe. Like, we have two proactive plays, and we've got Vengeance and a Bastion Popper. That's all we need. So she's running 2 Bastions in her version? Yeah, 2 Bastions. So I'm not really going to be too afraid of anything like that. I can just play the Sentry now.
We each hold a world within.
Yo, Nick makes plays. Thanks for the raid, buddy. Okay, so this feels pretty good. We can potentially threaten the Zed with Flash Freeze. The only issue with trying to threaten the Zed with Flash Freeze is, you know, Pale Cascade can keep it alive. I guess it just loses the ability to attack altogether without Pale. Yeah, Flash Freeze is a little awkward here. The Zed is kind of like, in a weird way, almost our only lose condition. I think the Flash Freeze will gain value later, though. And I think if she doesn't have Pale, we're ahead no matter what. And I think I'll just chump out the Zed with the Sentry and develop the Trapper. The most important thing is, like, the earlier I get the Trapper, the earlier I get the 5-5. And the 5-5 is very important here. And the fact that I have the Sentry dying after means I'm basically 2/3 5-5 next turn. There it is. Which, you know, and it just accelerates my Avarism. So we get the Yeti. Nice. And now Zed is kind of like useless already, right? That's kind of all we needed. So, unfortunately, I can't quite pass here. Actually, I totally could, couldn't I? Her pass has to be worse than mine. There's a few too many awkward hands. I think I'm kind of committed to just Trapper Yeti, right? It seems like there's not really a way around that. There's no real benefit to keeping Flash Freeze up this turn. We're just going to play proactive. And this is why, like, these cards are good in this match. The thing about Lee Sin... So here's the thing that makes Lee Sin a good deck. The way you counter most of the aspects of the Lee Sin deck are with mid-range concepts. Wow. Pass here. I mean, if I play Yeti, she definitely can't pass again, right?
What did you catch?
The only problem with, like, passing there is, like, I don't want her open attack to even have, like... Whoa. Oh, okay. I kind of wasn't even attacking that turn anyway if she just passes, I think. So the only problem with attacking her is like Pale on the Eye of the Dragon is really bad for me. Someone's a Dragonling as well. I'm in no rush. We're chilling. I just feel Archer is a great draw because it really punishes any form of development here, just in case that was going to happen. Like, we already have open attack punishers, so we didn't really need much else. And this should be good. I think between, like, Flash Freeze, like, so it goes Pale, and her paling off the bat is not even a good Pale, right? Because if she pales right off the bat, that just means, you know, she doesn't even get to draw. She needs to do something before Pale. Ooh, she loses the draw. That's big for me. And then I'm just flash freezing that. Wow. Honestly, given this position, I almost want a Harsh Winds instead. I don't need to keep mana up this turn at all. And it keeps my thing alive. And I'm playing nothing else this turn for any amount of value whatsoever. And it's like a tempo 3-3. And I'm never going to need a second. Yeah, I guess I'm just Harsh Windsing here. Wow, bizarre. But it kind of has to be proper. Like, the thing is, just because of the nature of freezes in this deck, I just want the ability to beat out the Lee Sin, which makes Flash Freeze actually better than Harsh Winds later. I know that seems weird, but the fact that it's cheaper means I'll be able to play more while leaving it open as an option when the Lee Sin comes down for value, right? Which is super big. Super huge.
Force is meaningless.
Okay, Lee Sin's down.
Pleasure to see you, Master.
We have a pretty good hands. Open attack's not bad here, honestly. I don't think I can do like a weird Sejuani, can I? Honestly, I could. I mean, it kind of forces out the barrier. It loses me the ability to crumble this round, which I think might be too important. I think I too much want the ability to crumble once the tap out for deny happens. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Pass priority? I could actually pass priority. I think I'm actually totally okay with this.
Without a sound.
Wow, a Zed. How much do I care about that? Can't I just kill the Zed? How does she save it? She can hush it to stop me from challenging it? I guess I just do that. I mean, the Lee is not going to be a problem for a while. And I can actually kind of do a pretty big attack. She can't even play 2 spells now that she's at 3 mana. That Zed had to be a misplay. It couldn't possibly make sense for that to be correct, I think.
Bow to no one.
Like, there's no... So, Sonic Wave is the only way Eye of the Dragon and Lee Sin can pop here. Maybe that's what's in the hand. But I don't need to keep my mana up here, so it's perfectly fine.
Stand and fight.
Lee can block one of these and lose health. He's taking too much damage, I think, if he does that. He needs to, like, barrier and block this, I think. This looks good. So keep in mind, after we're done with this, I'm going to be spectating the Kibler versus BBG match. That'll be a lot of fun, just watching that in real time with you guys. I don't know. I'm playing a little loose here, but because of this hand state and my hand state, I'm actually not afraid of Lee at all. Like, she's not a 4-card hand. Her Lee's 2 out of 8. I think it just does nothing to us. Oh, yeah, sorry. I interrupted my train of thought earlier. I really should have explained better. The thing about Lee Sin is that mid-range is how you beat Lee Sin as a deck, but the problem is Lee Sin as a card doesn't really care about mid-range, right? Like, mid-range just means a bunch of cheap, big, beefy units in the mid-game, basically. I mean, I can keep a 5/5 on board. This is like an aggro flash freeze. How aggro can we be here? Is that too aggro? How many flash freezes could I possibly need? I think we actually do need to put this game on a bit of a clock here. The one slight awkwardness is we have no crumble target. Like, you really want like a Vile Feast or a Hapless. In this matchup, like, don't get me wrong, I'll crumble a 3-3 and kill Lee and be very, very happy that it happened out like that. But I'm just saying it would be better if I had a crumble target. Wow. Burning 4 mana. Looks great for me. Really no reason to pre-play Archer, I think. So I'll happily take a pass. They're getting a Dragonling, but that's about it. ARAM's tempting, but kind of has to be wrong. It's really funny to play here. But the way this game, the way we're like winning this game is just off of board presence and nothing else really. Like we need to crumble the Lee here basically, I think. I think it's a full attack with everything and then threaten like a double crumble afterwards. Like the only way she stays alive is by Lee and then playing spells, and then we beat Deny by having a second crumble. So we can't play ARAM this turn. This looks like a solid attack. The Dragonling will heal a bit. I mean, it stops a lot of damage, this Dragonling. But I can tax like this board super hard. I guess the attack order actually could have mattered there. But I guess this was also the right attack order anyway, since Dragonling wants to attack the Yeti. But yeah, so now she should be pressured to play like 2 spells for the barrier. And then she can't have the double deny after that. So even if she has the double deny hand, this Lee is going down. Right? Okay, Lee went down. So that's brilliant. So now she's got to have a second Lee, and I'll just crumble it right now. Pretty sure there's no ability to stop crumble here outside of Bastion, which might demand the second crumble, potentially. It's kind of interesting. I could see an argument for the lead not actually even mattering. This is close. I mean, it's second Lee. How do we lose if we're just good against second Lee here? It feels pretty impossible. I'm just making sure, you know, so I know I'm really favored in this spot. I know, like, we're looking pretty good, but you still have to think a lot about your moves. Like, you need to... It's kind of like when you're really ahead that you have to think the most about your moves.
I'll see this through.
Looks like we're pretty good here. I really regret equipping these emotes. That was probably my biggest throw of this entire tournament. These emotes are so weak. I miss like Sad Poro, or like, I mean, I've got Ha, but Ha's like kind of a little toxic, little 2BM for me, which is, hey, that's saying something. Third Lee Sin, let's see it. Flashing Sejuani. This looks like a pre-concede play. I have to get it down. It's too important. I can't not get this down. So there's no Lee Sin in hand. The thing to realize is that Lee Sin actually has a pretty good chance of being on the top of her deck right now, because Deep Meditation draws from the deck. And so if there were spells on top of her deck and then a Lee Sin right under it, it means the Lee Sin's there. Basically, if we assume she didn't draw another unit, her odds of drawing Lee Sin are effectively the same as if Deep Meditation just drew it, which is really big, right? I mean, it doesn't matter because we've won this game, but in theory, it could be really big, you know? That's all I mean.
The trolls are going to war!
I'll use my Diana off of the Howling Abyss to win the game. I think it's really, really important to get the Howling Abyss sourced finisher. Completely imperative, I think. But yeah, this is a stompy matchup. Basically, the only thing that happened here is I predicted her lineup and went like all in on beating these kinds of decks. It worked well against BBG. Obviously, he didn't bring the same exact lineup, but it's still like the general field, right? Like do very well against Scouts, do very well against Lee Sin, and completely abandon the War Mothers matchup. Works pretty nicely. We actually don't actually have lethal here. Very peculiar. Do I extend for this lethal? Is it possible to throw this game? Is this a completely unthrowable game? I don't know, it looks vaguely throwable. Who knows? I'm sure we can't throw this. I'm sure we're fine.
A little snowball.
So what can she possibly do to stay alive? Palm plus guiding touch actually keeps her alive. I mean, I can't need more than one freeze, right?
A chill in the air.
But I guess the palm could happen right now anyway, right?
Stand and fight.
Bow to your king.
Face your heretic.
Here, I'll drag the 0 attack one. I'll assert my dominance.
Your lesson begins. The dragon binds us.
GG's. So that's my performance in the tournament. We're done with our section. We 2-1 BBG and 2-0 Amazonian, winning both sets. And now it's all on Kibler! It's all on Kibler! At the end of the day, this is usually how I do well in it. Like lineup construction and preparing decks is just like the most important part of tournaments. And usually, like, I mean, I play solidly. I make some smart plays. Sometimes I'll make dumb plays for sure. But most tournaments that I do very well in are just off the back of like the lineup being where it needs to be. I understand this deck looks really bad. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's exactly what I wanted to bring. It did exactly what it wanted to do as a deck. There could be 1 or 2 cards changed, absolutely, absolutely, but that matters a lot less than you'd think.